All right, buddy. It says we're live already. I don't believe it, though. We're going to make sure we are before we do any announcements or thank any of our sponsors. You understand?
Mm.
Okay. Oh, we are live. There's just a delay. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Total Arm Wrestling Show, episode 46. Jeff, can you believe we're at episode 46 already?
Are we already?
We have, not that I want to compare, okay? But my previous project that I was on, we made it to episode 50 before we pulled the pin. Can you believe it?
So we have a milestone coming up.
We do, as long as we can make it. My wife is shit talking you off to the side.
Okay, let's hear what she's saying.
I'm trying to shut her out. Trying. It's not working very well.
Victoria?
She can't hear you, bro. I got my headphones in.
No, I know. But you need to relay this and see what she's.
She's heading upstairs, but she's going to watch. So once she gets there, she'll turn on the show if for no other reason than to say some things to you. You understand?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So episode 46, our guests will be joining us very shortly. And of course, we've got Bryan Koerner and Ron Bath coming on the show. They have lots of things to talk about. But so do we. Before we get to that point, yes?
The chat's not working. We're getting
the chat will work. Just give it a second. It will work. Trust me. Who is messaging you already and saying that the chat's not working?
Your wife? And Joe Fox.
It takes a second for the chat to kick in, but I guarantee you it will work. In fact, sometimes I need to do this just to kick it off.
We got, oh, there it goes.
Yes, that's me commenting in there. So the chat is up and running. All right. Sponsors, Jeffrey. Sponsors.
Our sponsors, Western Survivor, Beef Jerky. We have Insight Arms. We have Misfit, Strength and Powerlifting. And Israel Arm Wrestling Club, EAC, all your best arm wrestling gear you want all in one place. Order now, IsraelArmWrestlingClub.com. Check them out on Facebook as well.
That was well done. I'm actually impressed. Maybe the hard time I gave you last time. We're also brought to you by Blackbush Irish Whiskey.
No, we're not.
Tonight, yes, we are. They sent me a truckload of money to have some drinks on the show. Oh, boy. Yeah, Victoria's in there now saying, hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Victoria.
Yeah, anyway, Patreon. We got to read out our Patreon, guys. As usual, Alpha members, Ready Go Solutions. Jeff Frank, Bruce Williz, Bryan Koerner, Jon Umpherville, Gary Roberts, Joe Fox, and Mike Dumas. Thank you guys for the support. And a reminder that we are giving away an arm wrestling table once we get to 100 active members. That's between Patreon and the YouTube memberships. We're sitting at 15, so we got a ways to go. But for as low as $1.99 Canadian, you can get in on that draw. It might take us a while to get there, but we will do it. Now, let's check out the comments section while we're awaiting our guests, Mr. Jeff Frank.
We have Joe. Oh, go ahead.
This way Z Express 1. It's working. Joe Fox. Hello, Ryan SBN. Mr. Jeff. Victoria. Hello, Jeffrey Ward Drake. Hi, all. Joe Fox. We are excited. Well, we are excited. Okay. Preacher Arm Wrestling. Hey, guys. These Way Z Express 1. Nice name. Hard to say. Shout out to Israel. Well, it's Ezreal, but yes, indeed. And little happy face guy says, Ryan just posted his match with RVJ is on. Do you guys see that? I did see that. And I brought it up to Jeff, and he doesn't want to talk about it. The match is on.
I just said, listen, Facebook is plastered with RVJ and Ryan Bowen. It's not that I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to discredit the good guests that we have.
It's the biggest thing in arm wrestling right now.
No, it's not. I mean, listen, I mean, it'll be a good match if it goes. I'm still a little skeptical, but it looks like the foundation is there. But, you know, one of the things that frustrate me in all this talk, you just hear the same thing. Michael Levin, Michael Levon, RVJ Ryan. There's so many other good pullers out there that are not being mentioned. And I think we have two of these guys on our show today that are going to be excellent guests that I'd like to talk about with some of their upcoming matches that are just as exciting to me.
And yes, and we shall. But until they get here, Jeffrey, until they arrive and are in the queue, we should talk about the greatness that is Ryan Bowen versus RVJ. No? Curtis Mocan says, hey, everybody, Jeff looks sober. About time.
Yeah, I'm sober.
Disappointed.
Oh, we can change that.
Oh, we can change it in about 3 seconds. All right. You're saved by the bell here, Jeffrey. You're saved by the bell because the first of our two guests are now coming in. Little happy face guy says, can you guys please talk about training? Well, probably not today because we got some stuff going on.
And if you don't know, Ryan has a training video that you put out weekly on this channel, correct?
You betcha.
Of
varying quality. And I think Brian is flying drones in the background. Bryan Koerner, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
How you guys doing?
Good, you brother?
Doing good. What's up, Jeff?
Oh, not too much.
Cool. Sorry, the wife's doing some putting her to manual labor. She's laying the hardwood up in the bedroom.
Oh, that's what's going on.
Yeah, I had to step away to get on the call, so let her keep working.
Well, when Mr. Bath gets here, we will admit him to the room immediately. But we should start off right now by talking a little bit about.
Ron said nothing's happening.
Oh, well, I will do some technical support with Ron over here.
Yeah, he's used to the hammer and chisel thing, I think. So.
Yeah. So you guys continue to do your thing. And
well, Brian, I'll tell you what, Brian. Ryan wanted to talk about RBJ and Ryan Bowen. I said we can't discredit the fine guests we have, which is yourself, Bryan Koerner, and Ron Bath. And I think that's got to take a back seat to you two professionals that we got on the show today.
So, I'd talk about that for a sec.
Yeah.
See?
It's been beat to death 100 times.
It has. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Bowen's done some great things. He set out to do something that none of us thought was possible as far as making arm wrestling a career, coming from, a little 165 dude that jumped up and has definitely enhanced his body and strength and technique. And he's definitely a technician by all means. But RVJ's on a whole nother level, in my mind, at least.
Yeah, Brian, you can attest to what I'm gonna say here, and I think. And I completely agree with you. I seen the same thing with like you hear Ryan Bowen talking about how he contains Lachlan Adair's back pressure, yada yada yada. All impressive, but listen, Ali Hamidia can do the same thing to Matt Mask in practice. Okay, I've seen it 100 times. Maybe not contain his back pressure, but. I mean, he can really, really make Matt work in practice, and Matt will be the first one. That's left-handed, of course. What happened to Ali in a tournament setting with the superstar and Justin Bishop?
Oh, Justin handled him. Justin was looking away, smiling. I mean, and nothing against Ali. I mean, the one time I pulled him, he made me look stupid, but Justin literally just set his cup, and that was it. It was over. You could tell Justin was relaxed. Once he had his cup set in, Ali had nothing for him, and that's nothing against him. It's just different levels.
That's exactly where I'm going with this. And I do believe this will be the same thing. I believe that RVJ is closer to competing with the Matt Masks and the Devin Lairdts of the world than Ryan Bowen is competing with the RVJs. That's what I believe. And, you see this in practice all the time, what people can do and how how they. What do you mean I'm crazy? It's a fact.
I didn't want to interrupt your point.
Well, I mean, we see. I mean, I see it all the time with Stephen Marcoux containing Matt and making him struggle. But when you get on the table with these guys that have the experience as an RVJ, a Justin Bishop, it's a completely different ball game. It don't matter how strong somebody is in practice and what you can do and how you can contain them. When Ryan Bowen gets up to that table, he's going to meet a completely different animal.
Yeah, especially a motivated Rob. I mean, right. Rob gets pretty amped up for Wall, but imagine this: you got a 5-figure match, knowing that's the biggest pay match he's ever really competed in, other than maybe like the 2016 WAL for 20 grand when he pulled Todd. But this would definitely be the most hyped, watched match. I think we'll see Rob on a level that would be able to compete with supers. I mean, just my opinion. I mean, the guy is, you might beat him once, but that's it. I mean, Justin got a great hit on him and pinned him, and then Rob put the brakes on right after that. I mean, he does that pretty much with everybody. It seems like Rob just puts the brakes on once he figures it out, once he gets his head in the match. The guy, I mean, if you were to take an arm wrestler and say, I'm gonna be God and I'm gonna make someone out of clay that's gonna be an arm wrestler, how is it not Rob? I mean, how is it not?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. I really believe RBJ is closer to competing with the super heavies than Ryan maybe at this point. Hey, I could be completely wrong, but I mean, I learned a valuable lesson, and I guess taking what you see in practice with Ali, you know, and what he does with guys there, and hey, that was the whole point of the match. I said from day one, I wanted to see how these guys compare to these WL superstars, and we learned a valuable lesson on experience.
For sure.
Hey, Ron, can you hear us? Uh-oh. We can see him. We can see Mr. Ron Bath. We cannot hear him.
That's such a bad thing?
Well, we're waiting for Ron to possibly switch over to his phone. Ron, as soon as you think you got audio connected, by all means, jump in here. Jeff, I think you're nuts. I think that's not an accurate analogy.
100% it is.
No, it's not. It's
I'll put $500 on it right now with you.
You'll put $500
with you that match.
Ali will be, or that Ryan Bowen will be as competitive with RVJ as Ali was with Justin Bishop.
No, I didn't say that. I said I learned a valuable lesson from that match. I did not say that whatsoever. I said Ryan Bowen is going to be – Ryan Bowen is – I think he's just in a little over his head. I think people underestimate where they're at by judging their skills based on a practice table.
Yeah, okay.
And when you're pulling the same guy, pulling
100%.
the same guy over and over and over again, you get to know their quirks.
Yes.
I mean, there's guys in practice that, you know, a year or two ago, I wouldn't have been able to touch. And now I can contain them. I can beat them half the time. But it's because I know exactly what they're going to do. I've pulled with them so many times. I know exactly what angle to hit in. And that doesn't make me on their level. That just makes me know how to work against that individual. Mm-hmm. And if I go compete, perfect example, Stephen Logston, he's a total stud. He's got 30 pounds on me, and I can catch him on the hit half the time and pin him, but it's practice. And I know if we were to go 100%. Pull in a tournament, he would crush me every time. Yeah. I mean, I might sneak one in every now and then on him, but 98% of the time he's going to beat me because it's not practice. You know, just is what it is.
Now, here's the challenging part. I've got 2 Ron Baths coming in the room. So what that means is I'm going to have to kick one out when we figure out which one is the real one. Anyway, Jeff, you're crazy. I don't know what you're trying to bet me on here. So it sounds like you're betting me that match would be as competitive as Justin versus Ali. But what is your bet for $500?
I bet RBJ wins that 3-0 easily.
Okay. All right. Ron, can you hear us? We continue. Oh, there's Angie in the background helping him out.
Click the little speaker thing.
I'm going to remove this one.
Yeah, so that's I think that's my prediction that Ryan will or that RVJ will win that one 3-0, relatively easy.
%. What's your travel restrictions looking like up there, Jeff? You guys locked down pretty tight, or?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The federal government has now so basically, if you're flying in from any other country, like primarily the USA, you can only fly into 4 airports in Canada. I think that's Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto. I can't remember what the 4th one is, maybe Quebec or something. But so you have to provide a negative COVID test once from your place of travel. So from the US, you got to get tested, provide that at the airport that you're negative. From there, you have to go into a government hotel to quarantine for 3 days. And if you test positive, then they take you away to a government facility where you got to quarantine for another 14 days. So welcome to Canada.
Guantanamo, Canada.
Hey, Ron, I think I can hear you now. All right. Ron Bath, welcome to the show.
Ron Bath, welcome.
Yes, I got to give up that ancient iPad and just stick to my phone.
That's great. As long as your arm doesn't get tired holding that phone.
Yeah, no, I'll be good. I'm good. I got Saturday with my left hand. My right's taking the day off. I got 3 weeks for my right.
Yeah. And, should we do this chronologically and talk a little bit about that match before we get into the NatFit Midwest Open? Because
for the first one, chronologically.
All right. Let's talk about that.
Hold on a sec, Ryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We did not ask Ron Bath, who is a very experienced puller, what his take was on the RBJ versus
Listen,
Ryan Bowen.
For a guy that doesn't want to talk about that match, you sure are talking about it an awful lot.
No, we're getting a legend's opinion in Ron Bath. All right.
What match we talking about?
So RBJ and Ryan Bowen. Now, what I did, Ron, is I used a scenario at Boise, Idaho, where we had a guy in Ali who I think is pretty good, and I could watch him do things in practice against guys like Matt Mask, where he could really make him work left-handed. And my prediction is, though, when Ryan gets up to a guy like we've seen with Ali when he got up with Justin Bishop, that he got beat pretty soundly. And I think the same thing would apply for Ryan Bowen when he meets RBJ. He's saying, well, I can contain all the back pressure of Lachlan Adair, and I don't think that means a lot until I just don't think those practice scenarios really relate to what he's going to see when he meets RBJ. What are your thoughts?
The problem is, especially with COVID, we live too much in a social media world. We're making heroes out of people who haven't proven themselves in anything.
Thank you, Mr. Bath.
All right. Okay.
I have no interest in that match. Ryan Bowen's.
High five me, brother. I said that before I come on the show.
And then you brought it back up. What the hell? We could have been done with it, Jeff. We could have been done with it before our guests even were on here. I kept on going.
Hey,
because you're obsessed with Ryan Bowen.
We got the answer from the legend himself, Ron Bath. Now let's talk about something that's really interesting to me, and that's the
because Ron has stated that he is not interested in the match. I will concede that we should not talk about it anymore on this show.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of guys that are legends in their own mind, Jonathan Brita has a match coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that one, Ron?
Pretty confident. I mean, he's been pulling pretty good, but there again, he's been pulling middle line people. Anything can happen on any given day. But I've watched a few of his matches. Him and Pavlo had wars, and if you watch my match with Pavlo back in May, left-handed, Pablo didn't even basically slow me down. So if I'm going off past matches and matches I've seen him in, if I pull smart, I don't see a problem. Plus, I got a special guest stand with me since November. And so actually I've been in the gym 3 days a week roughly. And I've been in the last 12 weeks, I've probably been to 8 practices. I've done more training, more practicing in the last 3 months because Angie's a workhorse. She beats me to death. Where'd we go? So my training's probably spot on.
Brian's going to check at his door
Alternate location.
because there is a drone dropping off an Amazon package for him right now.
Yeah.
So Ron, this was a match that was supposed to happen back in
November.
That's right. And something happened. You couldn't show up. And you took a little bit of heat over it. But I think anybody that knows Ron Bath, I think if you're backing out of a match, there's a pretty good reason why
I'll make a real quick assessment of that. When you work for yourself for 30 years, you don't have to tell anybody you're taking time off. Most of the time I've been with the company I've never really had to. And some stuff came up on a big job in a quick hurry, and only being with these guys for a very short time, I had to watch my steps. And after I saw the bonus at the end of the year, I made probably the right decision. And I don't blame Jonathan Brader for being really pissed. I would have too. Yeah. I mean, Tim Bresnan, took a different route on a match with me. And, I didn't like it in short term, but it happens. This sport's full of short-term changes, and you got to get used to it.
100%. I think anybody knows you're a pretty stand-up guy, and if you had a reason, it was a good one, and I don't think anybody should have questioned that.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't blame him for being upset. I would have too.
Yeah, I think I know I was there, and I talked to Jonathan, and he knew who, that if you weren't there, that, there was a good reason. And although he was initially pretty upset, I don't think he dwelled on it too much. And I think he's pretty excited to get back in on the table with you here coming up at the Alabama State.
Well, it's going to be a good match. He's a stronger left normally than I am, but my left is feeling pretty good. So I'd be surprised if he gets a win.
That's good to hear. He's been talking a lot of shit about me too, so maybe you can shut him. Maybe you can shut him up for the both of us.
Well, Ryan, I've told you he better be a lot faster. You're bigger and faster than I am, and you're naturally a lefty, right?
No, I'm not. People are sometimes surprised by that, but my left arm it's all right.
Yeah. So it is pretty good. But it is only left.
Yeah, it's the secondary. It's
the true test is going to be in about 3.5 weeks when I pull this beast from Utah.
Yeah. So Brian, first off, congrats on making that match happen. That is going to be. We were both there in Boise. We've seen what Jordan Sill looked like. Wow. And I mean, this match alone, I am so excited to see this match go down. Ron Bath, Jordan Sill, Nat Fist Open 2. What date, Brian? March 13th?
Yes, sir. March 13th. Kansas City.
Let me ask you something fast here. Did that match get booked before or after the Boise event?
It was after.
About 20 minutes after.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's some good timing and good matchmaking right there, because that is a killer main event.
Yeah.
Assuming it's the main event.
Yep.
Yes.
That's going to be a good one. Yeah, because Jordan's just looking big right now. And
I'm pretty stoked
at the UAL. And there was probably several reasons. One, he was big there as well. But I've never pulled him before to UAL, and somebody gave me some advice that really didn't work. And he just took me right over. And after that, he got lighter, but I've never had a problem with him since then. But you can tell he's got a big, thick hand. And if you put 15 pounds, if you get Jordan at 235, 240, whatever he is, maybe he's bigger. If he's bigger, yeah, I got my work cut out for me.
Yeah, I think he weighed in at 242, didn't he, Brian? Back in December.
No.
Who are you asking, Jeff?
Brian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
242. Brian, can you hear us? Oh, he's what did Jordan weigh in at the last event?
Yeah, now I can.
Yeah, so
240, 242.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's a big Jordan Sill.
Yeah. And to see what he did with Todd Hutchings, that was impressive.
Yeah, definitely was. But there again, you had a light Todd Hutchings, but still, Todd's a beast at any. So Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Well, I'm also looking highly. I'm more pumped up I probably never really had too much butterflies except for this left hand on Saturday because I really, yeah, I like Jordan. I like Jonathan Breda too, but there's just something. He's one of those I just don't want to beat me. So you're going to see a little extra ump out of me come this Saturday. And then I'll start worrying and getting ready for Jordan.
Yeah, that would be, you got to win that match on Saturday, man. We'll never hear the end of it if you don't.
Yeah. And I'm sure Jonathan's watching this, so.
Oh, you're right.
He usually is in the
today.
He has not chimed in yet.
He's usually in the chat saying something about pinning my left arm by now. And he's not there yet, so he must be working. But I'll get a message later.
I heard he already called out Marcio.
What?
Yeah, I heard he called out Marcio.
We better pull him right now, because in 2 weeks, Marcio will be too strong for him.
Why is that?
Marcio's back training and doing YouTube stuff.
Somebody lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Marcio's left is frick.
It might be too late already.
Yeah. Well, if Jonathan beats me left, then I think he has a viable shot with to call out Marcio. But Marcio, he won't beat Marcio. But I think you got to almost go through me to get to Marcio's level. Marcio's way up there.
Jonathan has entered the chat.
Yeah.
He says, I love it. Bring it, old man.
Yeah. Ask him if he wants me to bring my walker or my cane to slap him. I'll bring him my extra depends.
I talked to Jonathan earlier today.
What's that?
No, I talked to him earlier today, and he seemed, very confident in his training and feels really good at where he's at and feels like he's got a viable chance to beat you. So it's good that he's got the confidence in there and
got a good group of guys he works with.
Yeah, and there's no question that Jonathan will come in. Like he's going to take it seriously. He'll be training his ass off 100%, and he'll be taking it very seriously. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, I've been at one point, it was a long time ago, I was at the point of where Jonathan was and where Jordan was. You want to beat that guy that's up ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
So they have an inner fire that at this time, I don't necessarily have as easy to build up. So I'm sure Jonathan has a fire within him, and so does Jordan. They got something. They want to get up that next level.
Exactly.
I enjoy arm wrestling so much. I don't have to worry about winning or losing. But I feel like to get to the next level, if you can beat me, then you might be heading to the next level. Call it the gatekeeper, whatever. I don't care. I just love to arm wrestle. But I think whoever beats me right now at 59 years old, you've worked for it, because I'm in pretty damn good shape right now.
Nice. I like it. And Bryan, we got a ton of matches to talk about. So the NatFit Midwest Open.
Yeah, I know.
You got where do you want to start? We got NatFit all over the place, and you got a match with Jamie Sheldon involved, right?
Yes, I do.
Jamie and Ryan,
Jamie
isn't
Sheldon
it?
Ryan Johnston and Jamie Sheldon. It's going to be. I'm real excited to see where that one goes. Ryan's been pulling for a long time back with the Fritchies and Game of Arms time. He was pulling with all those guys in KC. He was at the Ruler of the Nations back in 2010. He's got a heck of a lot of good technique. He's stupid strong. I mean, he's been pretty much quarantined at home for the last year because he has a new baby, and they were doing what they felt was right and keeping basically themselves quarantined, him and his wife, so they give their baby the best chance to, come in as healthy as possible and keep any outside influences away, for lack of better terms. And Ryan had been working out. He told me, because I used to practice with him a couple times a week, and he had told me he'd really worked on his deficiencies, and he snuck out and came to a practice at my house a couple of weeks ago. And normally if I could get him cupped and get my shoulder behind me, he could not pull me out of it. He completely pronated me out of it, and he has never been able to do that. I mean, literally just took me and turned me over like I wasn't even there. And So he's definitely gotten quite a bit stronger.
Did you
And
tell
James, of
Jamie
course, always in
Sheldon
great
that?
shape. I mean, oh yeah. Oh,
Guys,
yeah.
we have
No,
our
he's
first,
really looking forward to it. It's really cool that Jamie.
It is cool of Jamie to come out and do that, and he's the name. He's the guy behind that fit, so he
Oh, for
better
sure,
be at
yeah.
the event.
Good match.
We have our first super chat of the night, and it's Finn Mason for $4.99, and his comment is simply, "I sprained my wrist crushing an apple." Get well soon, Finn. Get well soon.
He must have been trying to copy RBJ.
You keep bringing him up. You keep
Yeah.
bringing him up.
We did not discuss the fact that we cannot speak RBJ's name. We were talking
It was
about the
just you,
match,
man.
buddy.
That's all you said.
No, you don't listen. That's the problem. We did not say anything about talking about RBJ's name. The match, yes. All right. Well, I think I don't know much about Ryan Johnson. I mean, Jamie Sheldon's always in incredible shape, always well prepared, keeps scared, just like Ron does. I think Ryan might be in a little bit of trouble, but Brian, you'd probably know a little bit more than I would on that match.
I think it's gonna be competitive. I really do.
I agree to that. I haven't seen Brian pull strong in a while, but he's held his mark over the years.
Nice.
Yeah, that should be a good one if Brian is if he's in shape, if he's ready to go.
Oh yeah, Ryan's looking strong. He's cut. Yeah, he feels really strong. So
What is the weight on that match?
184.
Ooh.
So the weight, so they can still pull the 65 to 84 class.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you want to just go down the list here, Brian? I got it in front of me.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
the next one we got is Jake Houston versus Eric Cunningham. Now I know Jake. I don't know Eric, but it's a right-hand best-of-5 match.
Yeah, Eric's currently in the hook rankings. I think number 7 or number 8 in the 154 class. Jake's obviously a well-established puller. Eric stays mainly in KC area, but has gotten some top-notch wins over basically anybody that's came in. He's got a daughter that's been ill, so it's kind of forced him to stay home for the past couple of years. Didn't want to be away from her, which I completely understand. And he's dealing with a little bit of medical issues himself right now, but so far he's still planning on coming and pulling. He's got a great inside game.
He's pretty wiry.
Yeah, he's short. I mean, most of those guys in 54 usually a little bit shorter and skinnier. Eric is all upper body. I mean, 100% upper body, which, typical arm wrestler for the most part. But he does have a very, very strong inside game, and Jake's got a good outside game, good inside game. I'm excited to see this. I can't say with 100% certainty where it's going to go. Jake, he's usually a little bit quicker on the hit, but I watched Eric beat Dylan Burns last year, and Dylan Burns is one of the arguably scariest 154 guys out there. So should be a good match.
Yeah.
Most of these matches we have good ranked people in there, whether it be in the hook rankings or Midwest rankings. But I wasn't as concerned about that as I was about just being able to watch some good matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the last several that we've had a lot of good names, but they've been walkovers. They've just been 3-0s or 2-0s, and those aren't as fun to watch. I mean, it's great to see the people, but you don't want to see someone just smash someone that quick.
Yeah.
So these should be pretty competitive.
Yeah. Let's blast through a few of these because we got so many on here that I don't think we're going to have a chance to break them all down.
Right.
But the next one up is Robert Lopez versus Mike West. Mike West, right-hand best of 5. Mike West, man, he's been around a long time.
Yeah, I'm really happy that Mike is of that cloth, kind of like what you were saying, Ron, that you're really cool. You just love arm wrestling, and you want to give the people those opportunities. I mean, those matches can never happen if the person who's higher ranked doesn't give them that opportunity. End of the day, and Mike is definitely the hands down favorite, no questions asked. Robert really wanted to take on someone that he didn't really feel that anybody would think he could beat. And I even questioned that too. I was like, man, Robert, I pulled you both, and I don't think you stand much of a good chance here. But Robert's put on a good 20 pounds and working his butt off and believes in himself that he has a shot at it. And I don't know. I really think it's gonna be a good match. It could be a good match.
Robbie Topi just texted me. He says, "Hey guys, what's up?" He says, "Who's that ugly old man on there?"
Name's Brian. Okay, come on.
I thought you were talking about me.
He was talking about you, Ron.
Did Topi super chat that?
No,
Robbie, if you want the right hand man.
I'm just gonna tell Robbie. Robbie probably just seen you finger him, so he got the message.
I love Robbie. He's good shit.
Hey, you guys ever see on Facebook or whatever these new things that are coming out about these satisfying things where you see the knife cutting through the styrofoam or whatever, and it's supposed to mellow you out?
No.
You see, well, Ron, you probably don't go on Facebook a lot, but anyways, you know what was really satisfying today was watching the 400-pound Corey West on the tire tube and all that snow in Arkansas go down that big steep hill. I thought that was cool as shit.
He needed the tube.
You needed a tire tube, but it looked like a water wing that I would have on.
Gosh. Okay. Back to business, gentlemen. Tim Lewis versus David Hodson.
Yep, Dave Hodson. Two strength, two guys, pure bicep, one top roller, one hooker. David's going to have to beat him on the hit if he wants to win. And we all know if you get Tim sat on his bicep and he gets a lock, he can sit there for days.
Yep.
All right.
Robbie said he was just kidding. Ron, you're one of the best guys he knows.
Feelings are mutual.
Robbie. Bob Brown. Bob Brown.
Yeah.
Arm wrestling versus Roger Nowatzki. I'm saying that wrong, aren't I?
No, Nowatzki. That's correct.
Nowatzki. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Best of 3. So they're going to have a shorter super match, which is probably appropriate for Bob.
Considering I heard Bob was just saying he started at the gym just 2 days ago.
He's training.
Yeah. He also stated that he battled COVID, a little bit of COVID too, from what I heard. So all the more.
Yep. We blasting through these guys. Cole Halliday versus Tim Talmadge.
That's a good match.
Right and left. Yeah. Best of 5. Is that what I'm seeing on here?
Yep. That is correct.
That's a good match.
Yeah, it is. That's going to be an exciting match to watch too.
Tim is surprisingly strong. He doesn't look the part, but holy man, like he is surprisingly strong. Cole's a great puller.
Yeah, I see that one splitting. Nice. I see Cole dominating left-handed and right-handed. I don't know. It depends on if Tim can deal with Cole's leverage. Cole has got a lot longer arm, and Cole's real versatile, but he hasn't really tested himself against some of the upper tier per se. And Tim is definitely an upper tier puller. I mean, he's been pulling a long time. He's wall finalist multiple times. This will be a great match to really see where Cole's at.
Nice. And then we got Robin Chandler in a couple of matches here. We got Martha Swick right-handed.
Yep, and Martha from Pennsylvania. That match is really cool because they came out in 2019 and pulled at my WAL event, the local one on BR Live, and they had a killer 5-round super match. It was 2, 2, and then 1. And Martha ended up pulling out at the very end. It was a fantastic match. Like, to me, that was the super match of the day, and we had some hella talent there that day.
And we're going to redo exactly that, right hand best of 5.
Yep.
And then we have Robin versus Annie.
Annie Big Guns.
Milinicek?
Yeah, Milinicek.
Left-handed best of 3.
Yeah, Annie called me. She's a NatFit territory owner as well. And nice. She mentioned a couple weeks ago, she's like, you know what, Brian? She goes, I think I want to take on Robin left-handed. And I was like, really? Because Robin outweighs by a substantial amount. And Annie's a good training, been pulling for a long time. She gets trained with Jeff Hale, and she's solid and very quick. And Robin's not necessarily known for her speed. So that might be an interesting match because Annie's extremely technical too. So I'm really excited about it.
She's pretty experienced too.
Oh yeah, she's been around a while.
She's traveled quite a bit too.
Yep. Now 217 says used to be Annie Fuller.
Right, Annie Big Guns Fuller.
Is Annie related to Andy Fuller?
I don't know that.
You remember that name, Ron?
Yeah, Annie's from South Georgia, so she'd have to be from down that way. I haven't heard of her.
Okay.
And what's her name again?
Annie Milenichik.
But it used to be Fuller. So,
okay.
And apparently she's been to Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Harris versus Tim Lewis, left hand best of 5.
Tim's back.
Tim has been pulling a lot.
Oh my God, yes. You've been pulling a ton, and Kevin's hand and wrist against Tim's bicep. They're both war dogs, so this ought to be something.
I'm going to go with hand and wrist over bicep.
I don't know. I'm not 100% on that one. I would think with Kevin's experience, I would have to give the edge to Kevin.
All right, Brian, help me out with this one. Billy versus Cody. You say the last names.
All right, Billy Kripp versus Cody Vanderwoerd.
Okay.
Billy's been training a lot with Brent Rockers, and Cody pulls with Bo Olson out at the Psycho Arm Sports compound. They pulled one other time. I think it was like 2 years ago in St. Louis. And I could be wrong on this. Brad Cook, you might want to jump in and correct me on this if I'm wrong. I'm thinking that Cody elbow fouled once and then missed the go, and Billy ended up pulling him over. I wasn't at the tournament. I'm just going off of memory of video. But should be a hell of a good match. They're both just cock strong as they come. Just super strong. If Cody is able to stop the match, I think Billy's in for a longer day than he wants. But Billy does have a pretty damn good hit and a really good top roll.
Billy, pronounced Kripp, it says.
Kripp. Yep, Billy Kripp.
All right. John Jennings versus Dalton Duncan. Sorry, Jeff, I cut you off there. Didn't mean to do that.
No. Dalton Duncan is, that kid is an exceptional puller. I think that guy has unlimited potential.
Mm-hmm.
What I see, I'm pretty sure, Ron, you could probably attest that he won the Alabama State Championships, I believe, in his weight class 2 years running.
Yep. Dalton is young, strong. Who's he pulling?
John Jennings.
Yeah. All right. Well, unless somebody proves me wrong, I got to go with Dalton.
Just what I seen him do with Doug Allen was super impressive. Like, come on, man. And he has probably got one of the most natural top rolls I've ever seen. And it's lightning quick. I got Dalton all day long.
We'll see. I've never got to pull Dalton. I've obviously watched him pull, and fantastic looking. I was nodding right along with you on the Doug Allen thing, busting his hand 5 times in a row and losing on elbow fouls. That was pretty rough to watch. Yeah, but John is a training fiend. He's got a fantastic low hand top roll.
That could be interesting then.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
he's gonna have to be fast. If they're both fast, then it could be very interesting.
Yeah, it's
just strap them up.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, yeah, Dalton's style, and if he's a low hand top roller and Dalton's with his speed, strap him up.
That one will go straps every time. Just strap him up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we got one more to talk about, guys. Number 15. That's right, Brian? You got 15 super matches. Are they on a separate day from the tournament?
Oh no. Well,
okay.
We can move through.
Well, it's interesting. We've seen it at the Boise event, how fast with the right people, Brian, your help on the reffing and Travis is with the organization. We ripped right through those. Kelly Leach just come in to chat there and he says he was hoping to get a crack at Dalton. That match is going to happen one day. We're basically taking one of Canada's best 176-pound puller and, giving him a shot at Dalton Duncan. It was supposed to happen at the Red Deer Charity Classic. Doesn't look like that's going to happen this year, but that's one match I am crazy excited to see.
Well, rounding it out, gentlemen, we got Isaac Luna versus Dylan Burns. right. 16 super matches, right and
Yep,
left.
16. Yep, both of them.
Best of 5.
Isaac Luna. Go ahead, Brian. I mean, that guy's just a freak. Like,
I'll tell you what. I see it splitting. I see Isaac winning left, Dylan winning right. The performance Dylan just put on at Illinois State with that stacked ass class, man, Dylan is looking just ridiculous. I mean, he really is. There's no way a kid that small is that powerful, that quick, that has that much tutelage on the table. I mean, he's incredible. He really is. I mean, with a dad like Wayne Burns, multiple world champion, he's definitely got the pedigree for it. And I just see it splitting because Isaac's left. He's so fast. You see a lightning bolt and Isaac's already went.
Not to mention, he looks like he's chiseled out of granite.
Oh yeah. He's Adonis. No doubt.
If you didn't know Isaac's height, you would swear he was a whole lot bigger than a lot of because his arms are so fucking huge.
Oh God. Yeah.
And what's he weigh? 154 pounds?
Yeah. Like 156 pounds.
Yeah, but 100 of that's in his bicep.
Right.
A genetic freak.
Good shit. Yeah, but he puts in the work too.
Yeah. He's from Colorado.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if I remember right, he's a lineman, and you always see him with a ton of that heavy ass cable wrapped around his shoulder, and then that damn bicep sticking up out of there.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Good match.
So that rounds out all the super matches, and that in itself is worth watching. But you got a tournament, and take it away, Brian. Like, you got your awards. I don't think I've ever seen anything as cool as what you're giving away at these events.
Yeah, I've definitely put some coin in on these. So I haven't ran one in a little while. I mean, I kind of helped Ryan with the last one in November, where basically he already had everything pretty well set out, and his wife had the baby 2 days before, so it was like, here, finish that one up. But this one, since I haven't ran one myself in a while, I wanted to make sure that it was top notch, as good as I possibly can for what I can afford without trying to break the bank or get the wife kicking me in the junk. So amateurs, I got these cool little daggers. They're about 13 inches long. Got them all engraved, and which I think is a nice extra touch. It's expensive as hell to have everything engraved, but it's important to me to have. I know for any tournament that I've won trophies for, I like having the time and date, especially, hell, I'm almost 50, so senility kicked in like 5 years ago. So it's nice to have a little memoir to know.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
I don't know. I'm not saying anything about Ron being 59. I didn't say nothing. So anyways, I really like those. For masters, open class, and the ladies, this is second place award. It's a Spartan sword. It's about 25 inches. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I also got that engraved as well. And then first place, I've got a 30-inch one. It's like straight out of Leonidas. Straight out of 300. Yes, for the women too.
Hey, show it again.
Angie, how's it going?
Women's first place.
In the house.
So that's women's first place.
All right.
Don't get me mad if I win.
Yeah, doll it up real good if she wins it.
Yeah, I'll put some pink stripes on it or something. And then I got 4 overall awards. I know technically overall is supposed to be for the baddest mofo there, but I also realize it's rare that you find, if you got tournaments where you got Cody Merritt, Ron Bath, people like that it's rare that a 165 guy or even a 198 guy really stands a chance against him. So I got 4 overall awards. So 0 to 204 right and left, and then 205 and above. And they're these badass Spartan helmets with real horsehair on them, and they're engraved as well. So I got 4 of these guys to hand out.
Nice.
Is the helmet for the guy, the super heavyweight guy, bigger? Did you make it large enough to fit someone like me?
We could probably heat it up and split it out a little bit.
That's an anomaly. You need a real big fucking helmet for that head.
I have to weld 2 of them together.
I'm not sure it would fit you, Jeff, but I'll be happy to force it on there for you. Now tell us again one more time, what is the date of the event?
It is March 13th in Kansas City, and that fit Midwest Open 2 at Headlights Bar and Grill. He's got a really kick-ass stage. It sits up about 5 feet in the air, and we should be able to easily get 2, maybe even 3 tables up on stage. It's going to be pretty awesome. The owner there, DJ, was really stoked. He'd been hammering me and Ryan for about a year to put on a tournament there. And I was like, okay, well, here's what you got to accommodate us with. And everything's working out so far, so I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm super stoked about having Brad Cook with 217 Cinema Stills. He's going to be our videographer, and everybody knows he does awesome content. I mean, it's top notch.
So are you going to live stream this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got Brad Schumer. People would know him on Facebook as HD Bill DO. So High Dollar Bill is his first name, and then DO for dollar, I'm guessing. He's going to do the live stream. He's also the one that did the live stream for Illinois State a couple weeks ago. Did an awesome job. We had a ton of people just getting on there, interviewing, just chit-chatting away. So it's not just having a camera sat up there and just matches going on. There's actually people getting on there and commentating, talking. Hell, I got on there like 5 or 6 times and was just talking about whatever, talking about the matches. And so he did a really, really good job with that. I'm excited about him being there too. Well,
I mean, that's really cool, and I can vouch. I've been to 2 of your tournaments, and you certainly put on one of the best tournaments in the United States, that's for sure. So if you guys are wondering what to do that weekend, hit up the NAFED Open and do some pulling.
I got a question for Bryan.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Bryan, you got all these super matches in the tournament. Are we going to get done early enough to go to that awesome steakhouse again?
You bet your ass we are.
Well, that's the whole reason. I'm not worried about going. I just want that freaking steak.
Yes, we will. I've actually already got a reservation for 20.
Yeah, there you go.
I was planning ahead for you, man. I remembered.
I don't know if you can beat that steakhouse we were at in Boise.
Really? Wow.
And shout out to Robbie Topi. Is this one better, Bryan, that you got?
Yeah, this is about a 70-year-old place. It's just a shithole looking. It's terrible looking. I mean, really it is. It's an old ass building. It's got a big cow on the top of it. It's been family owned the whole time. They actually raise their own beef for the restaurant. It's their own specific beef, and they've got some just fantastic, just well cooked steaks.
Well, I'm extremely disappointed I can't make it. I had the plan.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm bummed.
But
217
using that excuse like COVID. Come on.
217 says Ron's never going to look as good as I'm going to make him look.
Who's that?
Brad Cook.
Brad Cook.
Oh, shit.
Well, there you go. You better win because it's going to be in high definition.
10-2.
All right. We got a ton of stuff going on. Bryan, you want to say anything more about your tournament before we field some of the questions from the chat?
No, I'm super excited about it. I mean, it's a lot of work been put into it. I mean, I'm super happy with all the names we got, and Chance Shaw, Craig Toulier, believe Chris Chandler's coming, obviously Ron and all the super match people that are coming. Cody Merritt's coming.
Who?
I think he did something last year over in some place across the sea. I don't know, but yeah, he'll be there. He's going to be pulling right. And I talked to him earlier today. He called me earlier to tell me that his doctor
gave him the
said
green light
he can start training. He can start training, but doesn't really want him pulling for another 6 weeks, which then puts him out of contention. Yeah, because he really wants one of these helmets.
Yeah.
So he's going to try to get one by going through Chance Shaw and Chris Chandler and potentially Ron Bath and Jordan Sill.
Is that right hand?
Right-handed.
Yes.
And you must have Don Underwood going.
Yep, Don Underwood, Nick Zena. Yeah, we definitely got a who's who list of people that would be here.
I thought that would be a bigger bicep. Maybe it's the camera angle.
What's right there, man? Right in that elbow.
That is true. And Devin Bear is coming. Devin Bear, who is having a career resurgence.
That guy is unreal.
I remember arm wrestling at tournaments with Devin Bear over 20 years ago.
I'd put his left up against anyone in North America. 76. That thing is crazy.
I just about choked on my drink. I thought you were gonna not specify a weight class.
No, I do live in some reality. No, his left is off the charts though.
I'm putting this up there. That's a shout out to my man Jesse Halliday, who beat Devin Bear in Boise. Left-handed.
Isn't there quite a weight discrepancy between those two guys, though?
Yeah, Devin was like 176 soaking wet.
Yeah.
Isn't Jesse like right 200?
Well, he made the 198 class. They were both in the 198 class.
All right.
But you might have another competitor at your tournament there, Brian.
Awesome.
Because Robbie Topi said he's coming to clean house.
Sweet.
Oh, nice.
They'll probably need somebody to clean up after the tournament's over.
Yeah.
Okay, who's going to
So what questions
with
you got?
Robbie Topi? Well, we have questions for Ron, and if I'm going back a ways, I don't even remember who asked it. But I mean, Ron, you haven't been on a ton of these type of podcasts, have you?
A couple of them, but not yours.
No.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, I'm looking at the clock here. Jeff's putting a time limit on us.
No, we don't have 5 minutes. I got all mine.
Training. Your training philosophy. Is it mostly gym-based, table, combination of the two? Cole's Notes version, if anyone remembers what that is. But yeah, there's some people asking about that.
With so many years in the sport, if you're serious about arm wrestling, it's got to be more table time than gym time. Me personally, right now, it's more about being in shape and physically fit than it is about arm wrestling. So I spend a pretty good amount of time in the gym, and it's more or less doing some light, once in a while sneaking in some heavy. But lately, over the last few months, I actually been on the table quite a bit because I saw quite a few tournaments and super matches coming up. But for arm wrestling purposes only, the more you can spend on the table, the better. If you're new to the sport, you could possibly go to practice a week. You could even do more, as long as some of those practices are more working on the technical stuff, and maybe every other week work on the power stuff and burn your arm down. But the more you can spend on the table and learn technical, the better off you are. But you don't want to be broke down all the time. So for arm wrestling, table time.
That's some pretty solid advice. Yeah, good stuff. Now, at this point in your career, Ron, like what goals do you have ahead of you that you want to accomplish?
In the arm wrestling world, as far as goals, probably I really can't say I've never really had a goal. Arm wrestling's been such a blessed sport for me. I've always been naturally good at it. I just love doing it. And the awards that I've gotten through the sport mostly have come because of just being blessed. You know, I wanted to win worlds and stuff, and I wouldn't mind for the future if we happen to have another worlds, is to go and win a couple more worlds just for the fun. But as far as like chasing certain people or chasing titles, I really don't. I just want to go compete, have a good time, not lose if I can, stay healthy, not get hurt. You know, we worry a little more about that as we get older, but I really don't have too many serious goals anymore. If there was one goal that I actually chased in my career, that probably would have been when I went to London to try to go for 4 golds. And
you came really close.
I did come real close.
So I believe you hold the record, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 3 golds and a silver?
Yeah. No, 3 golds, period. I ended
3
up
3 golds, period.
Yeah, once if I would have been probably more savvy as far as taking a slip, but see, I'm so old school. I refuse to slip. If I would have slipped, my arm in that right hand open was probably stronger than anybody, but my hand got compromised. And once those guys, the young Europeans and stuff, figured it out, they were all attacking my hand. So I ended up beating Taurus very first round. We were at match 1, and I beat him handily. And then as the day went on, because it was the last day of the tournament, and it was like the 3rd day in 4 days, I just kept burning out in my mind. I was just slowly losing it mentally. And then they started attacking my hand, and I lost my hand more. And at the end, Travis came up and said, "You should have just slipped and went to the straps." And I almost wanted to, because it was true. Had I just learned how to slip more, but at that point in my career, I didn't believe in slipping. I didn't know nothing about it because, as most of y'all know, if you're in the sport over the last 10 years, beyond that, 20, 30 years ago, we didn't believe in slipping. We believed you hold on to your opponent's hand as much as you can. And I always had that mentality. Yeah. Now I'm learning how to get the hell out and slip.
So WAL or WAF, which rule set do you prefer?
WAF.
Yeah, nice. And Bryan, which one are you using?
I like WAL. I'll always help. I'll support WAL. I'll watch it for what it is. But to me, it's the WWE of arm wrestling.
Great answer.
If you want to see good, true arm wrestling, as far as I'm concerned, it's WAF or PAL.
Preacher, brother. I couldn't agree more.
Excellent.
Hey, Ryan, I would like to ask you that question. What rule set do you like more?
Oh, man. I can adapt to both, but I actually prefer...
Good answer, because you can.
Yeah, I prefer WAF. And it's probably because I've done it for so much longer, and I am much more proficient at it and comfortable in doing what I have to do to try to get every advantage possible. And WAL is a little bit different. You got to really, there's a lot of liberties that are taken in those grips. So you got to fight, and the match doesn't start when the referee says go. The match starts when you're walking up to the table.
So let me ask you guys both the question. Do you think there'd be different outcomes in some of these matches in WAL if it was under WAF rules?
No question about it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
None.
Great answer.
You would have to, if you have somebody who's true to the PAL or WAF, they would have to learn a lot of the manipulations and mind games that would come with the WAL. The WAL guys, I think would have a harder time going to a PAL or a WAF at this time because they would have to become more strict to the rules. WAL is so loose with the rules. They jump elbows a lot more, get called with it. They get it let go. They get to come off back of the pads a lot more. I think it'd be harder for a WAL puller to go to a PAL or PAL or a WAF than it would be a PAL or a WAF to come to.
Here's why I love doing this show and talking to guys like you, Ron, is I feel like the whole concept of these shows with a guy like on here really brings up the sport being just a lot more genuine. It's why I kind of get a little bit frustrated when the whole RBJ and Ryan Bowen thing.
There you go, bringing it up again.
No, listen to my point here for a second.
You just can't stop.
No, listen.
Who's he crushing on? Who's he crushing on, Ryan?
And the fact being is because to me it just seems like Ron said. So WWE, it's just who can say the more bullshit and get the more likes, more subscriptions. And you bring a guy like Ron on here that just speaks from the heart about about the sport. I love that aspect. I love that concept. That's the stuff that I like. I'm not a big fan of the online shit. It actually turns me off.
Yeah.
And yet you're on a podcast. However, I would like to hear what Ron and Bryan think about all of this business with it's a subject that we visit sometimes when we have guests on here that we don't usually hear from. And one of those subjects is, do you think that the new era of social media is helping the sport? And is it putting guys in positions that maybe don't deserve to be in those positions?
Good question.
Yes and no. Yes and yes. It's helping the sport because it gets the sport out there. But it's also putting a lot of people who they've never really done anything. I'm watching guys do videos on training and they're showing tips and it's like, who the who are you? Yeah, they're making themselves famous. They just throw out a lot of garbage. So yeah, it's making heroes out of people who have never even proven themselves yet. So it has both concepts, but it is building the sport quite a bit. I mean, you got to give credit, even though they're WAL guys. Mike and Devin both use the social media to its fullest. Unfortunately, I don't like all their training techniques, especially Devin. Sorry, Dev. But I'd rather them teach these guys the true concept of the sport from what it used to be, and that's just solid, more power sport than. And maybe I got to start my own, but it'd be boring. So,
but people would watch.
You see it on arm wrestling discussion all the time, and it's just getting so old. You hear these giant basketball players. What if this guy was an arm wrestler? And what if this guy was an arm wrestler? And holy fuck, I'm getting sick of seeing that shit.
Yeah.
I spent almost 20 years working at a youth correctional facility. And when all these kids, when they find out I'm an arm wrestler, they always ask me the same questions. And it's whoever is big at the time. So when my career started, it was, can you beat Arnold Schwarzenegger in an arm wrestling match? Then it became, can you beat Ronnie Coleman in an arm wrestling match?
Right.
And then it progressed through whoever the big action star was at the time.
Yeah. No, that's the latest. It's like, can we make a celebrity? How can we make a celebrity a big arm wrestler? You don't hear anybody say that about any other sport.
That's true. And when Devin's channel really exploded, it was because, and this might not, like, some people might not agree with me. Devin might not agree with me. But I think when that video was captured of him toying with Half-Thor on our arm wrestling table, people really noticed that, all the way up to TMZ.
Right, and it's also a sport that everybody has done and that everybody can do. Not everybody is skilled enough to golf or play football or baseball or basketball, but everybody has arm wrestled.
Yeah, and everyone has a friend that hasn't been beaten ever.
Oh, of course, they won the state fair 100 years in a row.
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
And Brian, I must disagree because golf is a sport that everybody is talented enough to do.
That's assuming you're calling it a sport.
But that's a topic for another day. All right, gentlemen. Jeffrey, you got anything else you want to cover?
I think I got her, right?
You got her. Ron, how about you, my friend?
Now, just be watching these next couple of weeks.
I'm
excited. Let's see what happens Saturday, and let's see what happens in 3.5 weeks.
And Jeff, I know we got to cover one more thing, Jeff, before we go, but Ron, go ahead.
Done, I might be retiring.
What?
Ron, I was going to ask you, how old are you now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
59.
59?
I just turned 59 on Monday.
Holy, okay.
I don't know what he's trying to say.
I'm man, like, listen, no, man, it's just, I don't know. It's
genetics. My dad was in great shape, didn't work out at all until he was shit into his 70s and up near 80.
To me, it epitomizes what an athlete should be, man. Here you got a guy at 59 years old, still taking it seriously, still keeping himself in shape. I love seeing it. That's the shit that motivates me. Well done, Ron.
Thanks. That's probably my new goal, is to try to just be motivation because of age and staying in shape. Although I got this slave driver driving me to do it all. As she flexes over there in the corner.
And Ryan, you said we had one more thing to cover. Sorry.
We do, but I want to get some closing thoughts from Brian here.
Okay.
Nope. Just super stoked about the tournament. Appreciate being on here, and you guys take some time to talk about the tournament and show some interest in it. I wish you guys could make it down. I really do.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Brian, we've talked a lot about getting down there, and I'm looking forward to getting there for one of your events as soon as it's possible to do so. Because I have driven to Kansas City before. It's not a very tough drive for me to get there. It's now a matter of COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
217 has donated to $4.99 in a super chat. Says, good job, fellas. Can't wait to see everyone on the 13th. Thank you, sir. We appreciate the support. And Jeff, how are we not talking about your Super Match Sunday event?
Because it doesn't compare to what we're talking about with the NatFit Open.
Right. But throw a plug in there. The NatFit Open, yes. We got Ron's match on Saturday, yes. But we have Super Match Sunday in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, so just a local type thing that I'm going to throw on. Just a small group of guys getting together, throw some super matches to get some guys back on the table. Got a lot of good local talent, some national champions going at it. So yeah, tune in Sunday, 2:00, February 21st, and see some good matches go down.
All right.
You have it live streamed on TAL?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
TAL Facebook page, yes.
I'll say this. Yeah, it is the plan. Where we're having it does have some sketchy services for Wi-Fi, but we're making some provisions to make it happen. So I guess with that, anything could go sideways. But for right now, yes, that is the plan.
Well, if you cannot live stream it effectively, make sure you get recordings and put it out there on your channel for all of us to see. Joe Woodland, a good member of the channel here, a YouTube member, has donated $5 in a super chat, said, great show, great group of guys. Thank you, Joe. We appreciate you. Brian, Ron, thank you for joining us tonight. It's an honor to have you on here, and we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having
us.
Jeffrey, it's been a slice as usual.
Every week, brother.
Yeah, and don't forget to tune in for the RVJ and Ryan Bowen super match at some point in the future.
Like, share, and subscribe, people.
Right.
Betcha. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks,
Brian,
guys.
we'll see you in 3 weeks.